right? And we really need to pray about, this is what I said. For me, for the month of June, between 1st and 3rd, I want the Lord to save one person in the LGBT community. So if we all pray in the month of, thank you.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, the Bible tells us to pray without ceasing. Without ceasing. Ceasing is a depth to that word, about giving way. You know, when you're like me, your hair recedes. Okay, so it goes up. That's because I'm praying for you. Every time I pray, I just go, really? Oh, and I've worn it out. Over 20 years, I've just worn it out through prayer. But without ceasing, it's without receding. It's without pulling back from that place. It's a lifestyle. Prayer is not something you step in and step out of. It's not like going to McDonald's or other shops or going to the cinema or going to derby karting that you step in and you step out. Prayer without ceasing means you're in prayer. You actually never leave the place of prayer. You don't ever do that. The Jewish tradition is Ruach, Spirit of God. When you breathe, you pray. That's the old tradition. So when you breathe out, you're praying. Your life is prayer. You literally are in prayer. You don't go into prayer. You live in prayer. That makes sense. And so the encouragement to Christians is that we literally bounce about. We're doing this one minute and that minute the other. Do you realize you should be in prayer all the time? So where you go on holiday, that's up to you. You go on holiday, you come back from holiday, you go to the shops, you have fellowship, you do this. They're all things you step in and step out of. Okay? But prayer is where you reside. Okay? How do we know that? Because the Bible tells us so. Because you are the temple of the Holy Spirit. And if you read about the temple, the flame in the temple was all the time. The oil never went out in the temple. Okay, it never went out. So if you're the temple of the Holy Spirit, your prayer should be continuous. Okay, continuous. It's not, oh, let's go to a prayer meeting. No, you're praying, let's go to a meeting, if that makes sense. So can I encourage you, maybe you haven't got time to sit down for an hour and pray in tongues, but can I encourage you that during this season that we remember who we are, okay, and remember how we're actually built. We're built for prayer. If you don't pray, it's like you're doing something, not doing something you designed for. It's like a swallow deciding it's never going to fly again. Like, what? Swallows fly. Well, Christians pray. Okay? Can I encourage you to do that over the next few weeks, get that into. Good news, by the way, just to say that came finally to have the prayer on the hill on the 6th of July, God willing. There was a meeting. They hadn't planned anything. So I wrote a very encouraging, and they're now going to do prayer on the hill. So prayer on the hill as part of Tynwald is going to be on, and God willing, we'll be cancelling our LCCs that week. Then, because it's like every wave that hits that shore day and night, that's what darkness does. Trying to expand the kingdom of darkness. And you have all these things that are not. Okay? In the Isle of Man, they're trying to get the bishop out of Tynwald, aren't they? I don't know whether you take the Times, but I read the Times today, on Saturday, and guess what it is? They're thinking of doing the same in the United Kingdom. Separate the Church of England away from state. Separate church and state like they have in France. Okay? Because they don't want any Christian influence in the legislative program, Parliament. Why? Because there are people who are unceasing about this and won't give up. Now, if we're a switch on, switch off, praying people of God, that's not going to cut it. Because the days we're not doing it, they're doing it. The days we are praying, they're doing it. Because they actually act without. And I encourage you to make sure you have oil in your lamp and you keep on praying, because you are designed to be the temple of the Holy Spirit. Thank you for that, Jerry. God bless you. And just to encourage some of you parents here about your children, Rebecca, Ella used to be her nanny. Used to be down here. She used to be 2 in our church. Okay? And she started to sing and then started to wiggle when she was about 5 at the front of church and kept on going, kept on going. Now she's married to your man, and they've got a worship and prayer ministry. Then she's going around the world with that. She started in a little terraced house in the back street of Manchester with Ella. So have Ella as your nanny. Go far. Is that okay? But can I encourage you to pray over the children? Okay, our children in the church are just about to go down to Sunday school. Do you pray for the children and young people of this church without ceasing? Because there is deep darkness waiting for them. I need these little kiddies to grow up, so I don't know where they're going to be, even when they get to Keisha's. We're going to take up our tithes and offerings, and then the kiddies are going to go downstairs for Sunday school. Then it's over to you for about 40 minutes.